How's it going, doggy people? I hope you all are doing well. Today I'm going to answer a question that I got recently about someone whose dog is terribly afraid of their bowl, or any bowl. They've even worked with a veterinarian to see what's going on. The dog just has a very specific fear of bowls. Eating out of them, they won't go anywhere near them. They will go to the point of shaking when they see a bowl near them. So very interesting behavior, but hopefully I can give you some tips on how I would work with that. So if for that person, hopefully this will be helpful, and for anybody else who's interested, then let's get started. So if we have a dog that is, or any animal that is fearful of I'm going to say a stimulus, which in this case is a bowl, then it can be helpful to understand what happened in the past. I don't know if this dog ever had a bowl thrown at them. I'm not saying the owner or anybody ever did this. This is just, random theories that we think, maybe the dog accidentally hurt themselves on a bowl, tripped over it, or a bowl fell on them, or they were trying to get one on the counter. I don't know. Who knows what happens? All that really matters to the dog is what happens in the present. So how do we desensitize your dog to a bowl if you really want to? Well, the other option, the easier option, just to throw it out there first, is that you could just feed them on a plate, on a licky mat, on anything else, on the floor, but if you do want to get them used to a bowl, whether it's for themselves or just for somebody else, you kind of tap a bowl with a spoon, the dog goes into shaking, which can be very, worrying for the owner, of course, as much as the dog. We can start to desensitize them through, strategic desensitization. I might call it sacking out, like I'm used to with horses, but the same thing occurs where we have the stimulus, and I want to have as much distance as we can to where the dog is under threshold. So if I am here and in my hallway, and my sliding door is 40 feet from me, and we show the dog sitting here, and there's a clear path of vision to the patio. We have the bowl. We show them the bowl, and we place it down there, and the dog is able to look here, and they don't respond. They look at it. They don't shake. Then we can say, okay, this dog is under threshold. If we try to give them some food, and they don't want it, maybe they're under threshold. So we might need to move another 15 feet into the bedroom over here. And then there's 55, 60 feet from the bowl, but you can still show them the bowl at that distance. The dog looks at it, and you can give them that food and see if they'll take it from that distance, if that's possible. Then you would start there, and you just follow the bowl, take it down, give your dog a reward over here. You might, of course, obviously need two people for that. And then this is stimulus. You remove it. The dog gives you the response of just not responding or not reacting. For stimulus, response, and reward, for people who understand that. Stimulus, you remove it. The response is the dog just sitting there, and then the reward is that they get a piece of food. Very high value, whatever the dog finds, a high value piece of food. Could be a piece of real deli meat, some raw meat, some cheese, and I think this person said that they only take meat. So you can work your way down from this like A+ reward of real meat to a milk bone over time. Or just, simply showing them the bowl and then just letting them, taking the bowl away, and then, okay, we're ending practice and you get to go be a dog again. We're taking away this, kind of fearful desensitizing for you. But hopefully it should be positive when we're teaching them. Or that's the whole point, is that we can reinforce that this is, nothing scary. So if at that distance, whatever distance you are working with, if at any point you show the bowl, and the dog starts trembling, okay, we need to increase distance, or maybe move a little bit slower. So the reason why I say, we show the bowl and we remove it from vision or behind our back or wherever is because we don't want to keep just, slamming the bowl around and flooding the dog, overstimulating the dog, and that's not going to help. So say this here, really old school CD case for anybody who's at least from the 90s. You'll probably already recognize what this is. For anybody from, the mid 2000s and up, probably won't even recognize what this is. This holds CDs, which are round discs that contain music. So I know I'm old, I'm aging myself, but say this is the object that I'm using, and my dog is, however many feet away. Then I will take it from behind my back or from, this, below my chest where they can't see it. And I will just simply show it, and I will take it down. And then give a second, and then they can reward. So if I'm working with somebody, then I can say, okay, this is pressure. This is making the dog maybe a little bit nervous, or they're a little bit aware of the bowl. And I can take it away. This is release. and then we can give the dog a second to take that in, and then reward. So pressure, release, reward, in that kind of timing. And then you just do this a couple of times, and you say, okay, we can take a break and move on. And you just do this a few times over and over until eventually then you can hold it up for a little bit longer, and then you remove it, give it a second, and then reward. Or you can hold it, and while the dog is able to look at it, you can give them their food while they're looking at it, and you can take it away. And then over time, you can move the dog closer and closer to where they just see the bowl doing this. And then you can start slowly moving it to the ground and just very gently tapping the ground with it. Just one simple soft tap. You didn't even hear that. One simple tap. Very light tap on the ground. You may want a bowl that has some rubber on the bottom of it. You may want to have a bowl that has a little bit of like a soft bottom to it or rubber on it, or you can tap it on some carpet and just let the dog know that it's going to go on the ground. You can pick it up, take it away, and reward. And this is slowly getting the dog used to this scary object being able to move and go on the ground. And I've made a video of being able to slide things around and roll them, and you eventually get to that stage if you want to, but we start very slow. And if at any point the dog starts to react, we need to slow down with our training, increase distance, literally take less time to leave the bowl up. We may need to increase our rate of reinforcement, so anytime the bowl is up, we can give a treat, give a treat, give a treat. Bowl goes down, or the bowl goes up. We wait, bowl goes down, and then we reward. So over time, your rate of reinforcement will slow down, and then eventually you can just start tossing treats, dropping some treats around the bowl, and let your dog just go at their own pace. And even if they jump away from it, no problem. They don't have to be comfortable. They can jump away, and over time they'll say, well, it didn't get me that time. It didn't get me this time. And they go and they just desensitize to it. They habituate to it. They get used to it. And then you can start putting some good food inside of it and whatnot. And if you do it properly, if you take the time it takes less time. If you do it properly, do it slow, work at your dog's pace, then hopefully that should help them to overcome their fear of bowl. They may not ever be necessarily totally comfortable eating out of it. The goal is to help them be comfortable. But if you could at least just counter condition that response of seeing a bowl and just trembling for whatever reason, you can move. If you have one bowl you've been working with, then you can try another bowl. And if you try a different bowl, you may have to start all the way over at the beginning. Not necessarily a bad thing. That's just what works. That's just how you and your dog can work with each other and bond, and you will become a better trainer and owner because of that. And anytime you start with something new, then you start over from the beginning. But this time, it should take less time to desensitize to this new item, because your dog, with prior learning, makes future learning easier. Your dog has learned that if you do the same thing with this new object, your dog says, okay, I know what we're doing. By the fourth or fifth different item that you're working on over a period of, days or weeks or however long it may take, your dog says, okay, I know what we're doing. We're cool. But if you try to speed it up, then you can go back in training. You can set your dog back a little bit. Dogs are amazing creatures that they can be taught behaviors. They can be untaught that same behavior. They can be retaught that behavior with many different words for the same thing. So you can teach sit or sit or sit or sit or whatever. And 5 different people can have the same cue, and the dog can still understand that with each person. So it's easier, of course, to be consistent. That's the easiest thing for dogs, just like with anybody who doesn't speak English. So if you are consistent, take your time. Hopefully this should help you and your poor little pup who is terrified of bowls. Help them overcome that visual and the noise that it may make. And in the meantime, maybe just try to feed them off like they have little doggy plates, or they have little licky mats, or all sorts of different things that you can feed your dog out of. And hopefully they can overcome this fear. So I hope that helps. And anybody else, feel free to reach out with any other questions you may have for myself, or for a more in-depth explanation of anything, any other kind of behavior that either I've gone over in the past, or anything that needs to be updated. A lot of my obedience videos from a few years ago, I hope to be updating sometime in the future, because things have changed. Just like when I first trained my Shiba, I've changed methods and timing and experience, over the years several times. So I do things differently now than I did then, and I will probably do things differently in the future, a few years from now, than I do now. always just trying to better myself and, in the end, work to benefit the dog. So thanks again for watching. I appreciate it so much. Hope you all have a wonderful day. Today I'm filming this on Sunday, so whatever day you're watching this, hope you have a great day. And until next time, stay positive.